Scott, thank you for joining us. An exciting game to look forward to this weekend as we're back in rivalry action against AFC Wimbledon. Can I get your thoughts ahead of that game?
Yeah, one we're excited for. Local derby away from home. We won there last year, and hopefully we'll get the same sort of result this season. So, we're really looking forward to it. We have a really good week in training after a poor performance. We debriefed that early Monday, got that out of the way, draw a line, and kind of started pressing forward to this game. And I've got to say the reaction from the players has been spot on.
Yeah, and I suppose that's always what you want after, what you described as the worst performance you've seen since you took over. You're always going to want that response immediately, aren't you? So, it's good to sort of put that behind us now and move on to some exciting games.
Yeah, I suppose I expected that anyway, because I know what the group are like. I think there was no one probably more disappointed than the lads themselves. They knew that they didn't play and perform well. It happens, like I've said before, football's a very small scoring sport, albeit it could have been a lot more than it was. We know we didn't perform very well, but the lads are really honest. They're an honest group and they're a hard-working group, and they're really focused now, and I can feel that within the building, and I can feel that on the training ground, and it's sometimes not a bad thing. To perform that badly, and then it kind of resets the button a little bit, or we press the reset button and we can go again. Yeah,
and we obviously recently played AFC Wimbledon. You expressed that you were a little bit disappointed with how the lads applied themselves in that game, considering we had a big crowd here and, it is a rivalry. Is that something that you're going to use as fuel going into a game like this, knowing that, we need to sort of put that right almost?
Of course, yeah, I think we have to. Certainly that first half, we wasn't at the races at all. When we debriefed that game, I showed one clip, that was all I needed to show, which kind of mirrored what the whole performance was about. I'm not going to go through the details of that clip, but I just had to show one clip, and that mirrored everything. And we know what we've got to do. We know that we've got to compete with a really good side, which we, in my opinion, we didn't do on the night, especially in that first half. I think second half was a lot better. But you can't play football for 45 minutes, and we know that. But no, we're ready and we're prepared, and like I say, we're really looking forward to the game.
Moving on to some questions from Mark Dunford from the Crawley Observer. The first one is, you've played AFC Wimbledon very recently. How much does that help in your prep for Saturday's game? But then I suppose we also have to take into account that they've lost a couple of their players to obviously the AFCON and Asia Cup as well.
Yeah, well, it's a different game anyway. We'll be taking bits from the game that we played recently, more so on the attitude of our players than anything really tactical, or there's nothing tactical that I'll be using really. They've played a different shape since then. They may go back to playing the shape they played against us because they got success on it. We don't know, but what we've got to do is really focus on ourselves, and that's all we can do.
You've had some great runs at home this season. We're currently in a great run of form away from home. Is there a frustration there that those sort of runs have never aligned this season?
It's a good question. I suppose it is frustrating that they've not aligned. It's just, I think it's frustrating, when you drop points or lose games, whether it be at home or away, But I think that it would be nice to get a run of form where we're picking valuable points up at home and of course valuable points away from home as well at the same time, and then all of a sudden you find yourself, leapfrogging teams and getting up the table where you feel you need to be. But listen, we're still in a really good position. We played some tough games. There's tough games ahead as well, but we're 3 points off the playoffs, and we think that we're in a healthy position.
Obviously, we've had a full week since the last game, building up to this game. How's the squad looking? Is it still Gladwin that's just going to be out, and how's Ryan recovering from his illness?
Yeah, Gladwin's still going to be out. Obviously, he had a small operation on his knee, so it'll be a number of weeks yet. And Ryan will be introduced back into training next week.
Regarding the transfer window, we've seen Cam, Luca and Aaron all recalled recently. We're looking to bring people in. Are you going to be dipping back into the loan market, or would you prefer permanent signings, or ideally would it be a mixture of both?
It depends on what's kind of available, really, and what deals we can get done. Like I said, there's a lot of moving parts just to try and sign one player. There's a lot of work that goes in. We're certainly looking at both markets at the moment, and You know, I'm not going to kind of predict what we're going to do because I don't know. But we are definitely looking at both markets.
You've got Peterborough coming up on the Tuesday after this game. Obviously, we know you're only going to be looking ahead to this one so far. You mentioned before the game got called off on the initial date that you'd already planned the team. You know, everybody was ready to go. Obviously, we turned up to the stadium when it was called off. Will the starting 11 for that game stay the same? Is the game plan going to stay the same, or does it now have to be altered considering we've got a game on Saturday?
Oh no, it'll be different because it's a different week. You know, we may pick up an injury on Saturday. You know, we're probably a different team now than we was back then. So I think it'll be different from what I was originally going to do, but it won't be too far away from what I was going to do, if that makes sense.
And finally, what do you think we can expect from Wimbledon? Obviously, as you said earlier, we've played them recently. We know what threats they have, but is there anything different we can expect, do you think, if they change their shape, considering they've lost, you know, one of their better strikers?
Yeah, but they've just signed a striker as well, so they could play similar to how they played against us here. They played 4-4-2 against Wrexham last week, so they could do that. I thought they were really good in that game as well. You know, so especially in the first half, I thought they were very good against Wrexham. But we'll have to wait and see. I think it's more kind of planning about what we want to do in the game and how we want to attack it. But what I can expect from them is, you know, high energy, aggressive, aggressive team who will press and kind of get after us. And we've just got to make sure that we play and compete.
Yeah, just one more. Obviously, we know how much of an impact the fans can have at a fixture like this, as we've already touched on. Local rivalry, you know, it was our first away victory there last season, and the support there was absolutely fantastic. So we're hoping for more of the same, aren't we? Yeah,
got good memories of that game. You know, it was a big day, wasn't it? You know, we'd come off the back of quite a few losses, and I think we'd played Harrogate at home and beat Harrogate, and then we obviously went to Wimbledon, and it was a big day for us, and we really needed to win that game. So yeah, good memories of that. So I'm hoping that we have much of the same, and hopefully the supporters can come in their numbers and, you know, and support us through the game, and hopefully we'll have a celebration at the end.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.